It's All Talk. I'm Kevin
Dietz. Ted Nugent is celebrating the 50th anniversary of his iconic rock anthem, Stranglehold, with a series of exclusive speakeasy rockout shows in Texas and Michigan this spring and summer. The rock legend is also a fearless Second Amendment defender and joins us now to talk about President Donald Trump's bold new plan to restore gun rights to millions of Americans. Ted Nugent, good morning.
Hey, good morning in my beloved birth state of Michigan, and happy springtime, Kevin.
Absolutely. We are getting there. We're getting to warmer weather. We're on our way. Look, this plan by President Donald Trump is a big deal.
Well, the Gun Control Act of 1968, and God bless Ronald Reagan, but boy, did he blow it with the National Firearms Act in 86. Those would be infringements. You know, just a guitar player, and I never went to college. I was too busy learning stuff, but what I learned was truth, logic, and common sense. And even I, the author of Wango Tango, knows what an infringement is. And when you have gun laws like the 68 Gun Control Act and the NFA, those are infringements, and those are illegal laws, and they haven't reduced crime. In fact, crime has exploded in gun-free zones, so we do need to get rid of those. Stop and think, Kevin. I need government federal paperwork to make my rifle quieter and safer, but by law, I have to have a muffler on my lawnmower. This is like cuckoo's nest stuff, so we're fighting and supporting this great president because this stuff has to happen. Kevin, in my beloved state of Michigan, the law says the rifle must be in a case inaccessible to occupants. That's the definition of infringement.
So the plan by the president is to have mass pardons to restore gun rights to those convicted of non-violent felonies. You support this 100%?
Oh, good grief, Kevin. You know who you don't hear from? You don't hear from all these wonderful Americans, law-abiding Americans, who are now convicted felons because their muffler on a tractor in up North Michigan violated Environmental Protection Act law. This farmer in Michigan is now a felon, cannot own a firearm, does not have God-given individual rights as guaranteed by the Constitution, because the EPA is not an environmental protection agency. It's a scamming bureaucracy. So there's hundreds, I'm sure there's thousands, but I've heard from hundreds of good Americans, Kevin, that cannot own a firearm because of a nonviolent, silly crime way back in their youth, or because of some, punitive, arbitrary, capricious regulation that makes them a felon when they're good people. So, yeah, President Trump is doing everything right. And this is one of the most important ones, because if you don't have constitutionally guaranteed, self-evident, truth-based individual rights, you don't have an America.
Yeah, but we'll hear from liberals from Djibouti to Timbuktu that this is going to make America more dangerous.
Yeah, well, of course, these are the same freaks, the Joe Biden freak gang, who think that we need to have open borders and that men should be able to destroy women's sports, and that when the government finds immorally wasted, thieved tax dollars, that we have to stop identifying the government stealing our taxes. The other side, God loves me, Kevin, because he's made my enemies so stupid that they're not afraid to expose their stupidity, their immorality, and their nonsense with the First Amendment. So I say, Joe Biden and all you freaks, keep talking, because you're making my case better than I can.
How did we get so far away from the spirit of the Second Amendment? What do you think the Founding Fathers were thinking about when they came up with the Second Amendment?
Well, I don't have to think what they were thinking. We were living in a world of tyrants and kings and emperors and führers where it was basically slavery. The king and his henchmen had all these rights and freedoms, and the citizens did not. And the Founding Fathers, thanks to divine intervention, which, by the way, when I wrote Wang Dang Sweet Kun Tang, I think there was some divine intervention going on there. My point being, Captain, is that the Founding Fathers wanted to raise the almighty middle finger to the king and say, we have certain inalienable, self-evident, truth-based rights. Duh. And we're going to write them down in case somebody like Gretchen Whitmer someday wants to play king again and deny us our rights. So the Founding Fathers' vision was pure. It was self-evident, truth-based, truth, logic, and common sense. And the Founding Fathers wanted to implement self-evident truth, logic, and common sense, which dictates Ted Nugent's life, by the way, which is why my music is so damn sexy. Have you noticed that, Kevin?
Very sexy.
Stop and think. Stop to think of my critics, how stupid they sound. They always make up lies and stupid stuff to attack President Trump, attack me, and attack my buddy Kid Rock, and to attack you, and to attack people of goodwill and decency. So keep on talking, Chuck Schumer. Your insanity makes my day.
Well, we're going to hear from Democrats who are going to say the president is overstepping his authority. These pardons are going to bypass Congress, and it's really Congress's job to make a decision like this, whether nonviolent felons can have their gun rights back.
Well, Kevin, you're doing a great job of playing devil's advocate and identifying those that would play devil's advocate. Because if you're going to try to debate Ted Nugent, you would have to be advocating the devil. Remember how I handed Piers Morgan his ass and everybody else who tried to debate me? Why don't we do this? On the greatest talk show in America, WJR in Detroit, 760 AM, why don't these people that are against freedom and against Ted Nugent, against Donald Trump, why don't we have an open debate on WJR? Everybody can have a great time as I dance on their skull with truth, logic, and common sense, and let them expose themselves for being mindless, feeble, soulless idiots. Debate the guitar player. Surely Piers Morgan thought he could debate the guitar player, and I handed him his ass. My specialty is not just sexy guitar licks, but handing idiots their ass. Don't you just love that about me?
It's like the song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." You can just have a battle right here on WJR. And,
the devil went down to Wyandotte, and I just handed him down to her ass.
What do you make of the NRA these days? They don't seem like they're the same organization they were 20, 50 years ago.
Well, Kevin, you are a great radio guy. That is a very, very important point to bring up. I was on the board of directors of the very important National Rifle Association for 29 years. And when I saw the deceit and the tailspin, the toilet flush into a bureaucracy that the NRA was becoming, I fought hard, and then I quit my position on board of directors. But now I'm glad to say, even though everybody who believes in freedom should be a member of my nonprofit called Hunter Nation, please, everybody go to hunternation.org and see what we've done to get conservatives to vote in meaningful numbers. I could tell you some stories to break your heart, but hunternation.org is the really important organization for gun rights and hunting rights and private property rights. But now Gun Owners of America, GOA.org, I believe, Gun Owners of America, certainly the new NRA, we have a new president, we have a new leadership, we got rid of the scamming bureaucrats, and we need a strong National Rifle Association, and I'm pleased to announce, thank you for bringing this up, that the new leadership in the National Rifle Association is going to be about Second Amendment rights, that we have a right from God, as guaranteed by the Second Amendment, to keep and bear arms. Keep means it's mine, you can't have it. And bear means I have a couple on me right now. They're loaded, and they're not in the case, and they're not in the safe. And again, I've got to mention, when we talk about gun rights, people always falsely equate violent crime with gun access. Remember, when I was growing up, you could buy a machine gun from Sears and Roebuck, and there was no such thing as mass shootings or school shootings. So during an era with unlimited access to unlimited firepower, there was much reduced crime. And my point being is that in a world of filled courts with engineered recidivism, say it, Kevin, engineered recidivism. It's not about access to weaponry. It's about releasing violent criminals to continue to repeat their violent crimes. It's so obvious unless you are just intentionally cultivating violent crime and letting violent criminals out. So everybody should be a member of hunternation.org. It's a voting force. It's a voting force to make sure we have conservatives and constitutionalists representing we the people. But also Gun Owners of America. There's some great Michigan Second Amendment organizations that Michigan residents should be a member of. But we have to become active, and that's why we created Hunter Nation. And it made a big difference.
All right, people will go there. Ted Nugent, American rock star. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
I'll see you at Freedom Hill on August 31st. Be some ballistic rock and roll, I guarantee it.
Looking forward to it. This is All Talk. I'm Kevin Dietz.